Day 1, 5 a.m. I'm sitting on the edge of my bed in complete darkness, and I'm imagining my own death, not vaguely, not philosophically. I'm visualizing in graphic detail my last moments of consciousness. The feeling of breath becoming impossible, light fading, the final second before everything goes black. My heart is racing. My hands are shaking. This is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done. And I'm going to do it every single morning for 30 days. You're not afraid of death. Not consciously, anyway. You're afraid of embarrassment, rejection, failure, judgment, losing what you have, change, conflict, being vulnerable. These fears control your entire life. You don't speak up because you're afraid of how you'll look. You don't take risks because you're afraid of failing. You stay in situations that slowly kill you because you're afraid of the unknown. You live in constant low-grade anxiety about things that haven't happened and probably never will. 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, practiced dying every single morning. Not because he was morbid or depressed, because he understood something that modern psychology is just rediscovering. When you face the ultimate fear, your own mortality, every other fear loses its power. The Stoics called it Memento Mori. Remember, you must die. And they didn't just think about it. They practiced it daily, systematically. I thought it was philosophical poetry until I actually tried it. In the next 33 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what happened when I practiced Memento Mori for 30 days. Not just my emotional experience, I tracked everything. My anxiety levels, my decision-making, my relationships, my risk tolerance, my clarity. I'll show you the exact practice I used every morning, the one Marcus Aurelius and Seneca actually did, not the watered-down version. I'll show you the neuroscience behind why this works, why confronting death reduces anxiety instead of increasing it. And I'll show you the day-by-day breakdown, when it got harder, when it clicked, and what permanently changed. This isn't theory. This is a documented 30-day experiment on facing mortality. And by the end, you'll understand why practicing death might be the most life-affirming thing you ever do. Let me start with the fear I was running from. I want to be honest with you about why I tried this. 6 months before this experiment, I was paralyzed. Not physically, psychologically. I had ideas I didn't pursue because what if they fail? I had conversations I didn't have because what if they judge me? I had opportunities one didn't take because what if I'm not ready? Every decision felt monumentally important. Every risk felt too dangerous. Every potential criticism felt crushing. I was living small, playing safe, hiding, and I told myself it was wisdom, caution, being realistic. But late at night, alone with my thoughts, I knew the truth. I was terrified. Then I read this passage from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. And I read Seneca's letters from a Stoic. Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. They weren't being dramatic. They were describing an actual practice. And I thought, what if my fear isn't about failure or judgment? What if it's about death, and I just don't realize it? Every fear, if you trace it deep enough, connects to mortality. Fear of embarrassment? You're afraid of social death, being cast out. Fear of failure? You're afraid your life will have been wasted. Fear of rejection? You're afraid of being alone, unlovable until you die. Fear of change? You're afraid of losing your identity, a kind of psychological death. The Stoics understood this. They didn't avoid the root fear. They confronted it directly. Every single morning, our entire civilization is designed to help you avoid thinking about death. We've hidden it, sanitized it, made it invisible. Previous generations washed the bodies of their dead, buried them with their own hands. Death was constant, visible, unavoidable. Now, we outsource it. Hospitals, funeral homes, crematoriums, anywhere but in front of us. We've created an endless supply of distractions so you never have to sit with the reality of your mortality. Social media, Netflix, work, busyness, noise, anything to avoid the silence where death lives. And we tell ourselves this is healthy. This is living in the moment. This is staying positive. But the Stoics would say, this is cowardice. And this cowardice is why you're anxious all the time. If I confronted death, really confronted it, not just intellectually acknowledged it, every other fear would shrink. The Stoics claimed this for 2,000 years. Modern psychology research on mortality salience suggests they were right, but I needed to test it myself. So on January 1st, I started the 30-day Memento Mori experiment. Here's exactly what I did. Every single morning for 30 days, I woke up at 5:45 a.m. No phone, no distractions, just darkness and silence. And I practiced dying, not metaphorically, literally visualizing my death in detail. Here's the exact structure I used, pulled from Stoic texts and adapted into a practical format. Close your eyes. Imagine you've been told you have 1 week to live. Not someday, not eventually. 7 days. Feel that in your body. The shock, the disbelief, the panic. Now imagine it's your last day, last hour, last minute. Visualize lying in bed, breathing becoming difficult, your body shutting down. Feel the fear. Don't avoid it. Sit with it. Then imagine your final breath. And the moment after. Darkness. Silence. Nothing. You're gone. Now imagine your funeral. Who's there? What are they saying about you? Not what you hope they'd say. What they'd actually say based on how you've lived. Are there regrets you left them with? Conversations you never had? Love you never expressed? Imagine your family sorting through your belongings. What do they find? What defines your life? Imagine 50 years later. Your grandchildren don't know you. They've never met you. 100 years later, everyone who remembered you is dead. It's like you never existed. 1,000 years later, dust, forgotten, erased. Sit with that. Feel the weight of it. Now open your eyes. You're alive. Right now. This moment. You have today. Maybe more. Maybe less. But definitely today. Ask yourself 3 questions. What matters now that I've remembered I'm going to die? What have I been avoiding that I should stop avoiding? How do I want to live today knowing it could be my last? Write down the answers. Don't just think them, write them. Then stand up and live accordingly. The Stoics did this daily because they understood something crucial. Remembering you're mortal isn't a one-time realization. It's a practice. Your brain naturally avoids death. It's wired for survival. So it will push mortality out of your conscious awareness. That's why I know I'm going to die doesn't change your behavior. You need to feel it regularly until it becomes integrated into how you see everything. Marcus didn't write "Remember Death" once in Meditations. He wrote it constantly, reminding himself daily, because he kept forgetting. We all do. I committed to this for 30 days. No skipping, no exceptions. Even when I didn't want to, especially when I didn't want to, because discomfort was the point. If it was comfortable, it wouldn't work. Let me show you what happened. Day 1, I cried, genuinely cried. The visualization was so intense my body reacted like it was real. I sat there at 5:47 a.m., tears streaming down my face, heart pounding, thinking, what the hell am I doing? But I finished the 8 minutes, wrote in my journal, went about my day, and something strange happened. That morning, someone cut me off in traffic. Normally, I'd be furious for 20 minutes. This time, nothing. I just thought, we're both going to be dead in 70 years. This doesn't matter. Day 2, easier to start. Still uncomfortable, but less shock. The visualization felt more familiar. I could go deeper into it without my brain completely shutting down. Day 3, I noticed I was checking my phone less. Not because I was trying to, because it seemed less urgent. Someone didn't like my post? I'm going to be dead someday, and this will mean absolutely nothing. By day 4, I started tracking specific changes. Anxiety levels. I rated my baseline anxiety 1 to 10 each evening. Pre-experiment average, June 5th, 10. Day 4 to 7 average, 4. February 10th. A 35% reduction in generalized anxiety. Why? Because most of what made me anxious suddenly seemed trivial in the context of mortality. I'm worried about what that person thinks of me. In 100 years, we'll both be forgotten. Why does this have power over me? Decision-making. I tracked every significant decision I made. Before, 3 to 5 days to make decisions. Constant second-guessing. Week 1, same-day decisions. Not because I was reckless, because I could see what actually mattered. Example, I'd been putting off a difficult conversation with a friend for weeks. Day 5, after the death meditation, I texted them, "Can we talk today?" We talked. We cleared the air. Took 30 minutes. I'd wasted weeks avoiding 30 minutes of discomfort because I was afraid of what? Awkwardness? Confronting death made that fear seem absurd. Day 7 was my son's 8th birthday. Usually, I'd be distracted at family events, checking email, thinking about work. That day, I was completely present, because I'd spent the morning imagining my death, imagining missing his future birthdays, imagining him growing up without me. So when I was with him, I was with him, not perfectly, but more than ever before. My wife noticed, "You seem different this week. More here." I didn't tell her about the experiment yet. I just said, "I'm trying to appreciate things more." She smiled. "Keep doing it." By the end of week 1, anxiety down 35%. Decision speed 3x faster. Presence with family noticeably improved. Phone usage down 40%, tracked via screen time. Meaningless worries almost eliminated. But I also noticed something concerning. The meditation was getting easier. Too easy. I was going through the motions, but not really feeling it anymore. Week 2 was about to test whether I could go deeper. Day 8, the meditation felt routine, mechanical. I went through the visualization, but it didn't hit the same way. I thought, maybe this is just who I am now. Maybe I've gotten all the benefit. I was wrong. Day 9, I adjusted the practice. Instead of just imagining my death, I imagined dying young, dying before my kids grow up, dying before I accomplish anything meaningful, dying with regrets. That brought the intensity back. Hard. Day 10. I added something Seneca recommended, imagining losing the people I love. I visualized my wife's death, my children's deaths, my parents' deaths. I know that sounds morbid, felt morbid, but here's what it did. When I saw them that evening, the gratitude was overwhelming. I hugged my wife like I hadn't seen her in years. She laughed. "What's gotten into you?" I just said, "I love you." Really. Day 11. I'd been sitting on a business decision for 8 months. I had an opportunity to start something that terrified me. High risk, possible failure, potential judgment. I'd been paralyzed by, what if it doesn't work? After the death meditation that morning, I realized I was asking the wrong question. The right question: what if I die never having tried? That scared me more than failure. Day 12, I made the decision, started the process, committed, felt like jumping off a cliff, but also like I could finally breathe. Day 13 to 14, I noticed a pattern. Every morning, after confronting death, I'd have a moment of absolute clarity about what mattered. And it was never what I thought. What mattered wasn't money, success, or looking good. What mattered was, did I live authentically? Did I love deeply? Did I try courageously? Those were the only questions my imagined dying self cared about. So those became the questions I started living by. I want to pause here and explain why this is working. Because this isn't just Stoic philosophy. This is neuroscience. It's called mortality salience research, and it's been studied for 30 years. When you consciously think about death, 3 things happen in your brain. The default mode network quiets. This is the part of your brain that worries about social status, creates anxiety about the future, and ruminates about the past. Death awareness temporarily shuts it down. The prefrontal cortex activates. This is your rational, values-based decision-making system. You become less reactive, more intentional. Your temporal perspective expands. You stop thinking short-term, what feels good now, and start thinking long-term, what matters overall. The Stoics didn't know the neuroscience, but they discovered the practice that triggers these effects. By end of week 2, made the decision I'd been avoiding for 8 months. Relationships deepened. I was more present, more expressive. 0 meaningless arguments. I literally couldn't care about petty things anymore. Started saying no to things that didn't align with my values. Started saying yes to things that scared me but mattered. But there was a dark moment coming. Week 3 would test whether this practice could hold up when real grief entered the picture. Day 15, normal morning, death meditation, clarity, good day. Day 16, I got a call. My uncle, someone I was close to growing up, was in the hospital. Terminal. Weeks, maybe days. Suddenly, death wasn't a meditation. It was real, immediate, painful. Day 17, I almost skipped the death meditation. It felt cruel to visualize death when real death was happening. But I did it anyway. And something unexpected happened. I wasn't more devastated. I was more prepared, grounded, clear, because I'd been sitting with death every morning for 16 days. I knew what I needed to do. I needed to visit him, have the conversations, say what needed to be said, before it was too late. No hesitation, no overthinking, just action. Day 18, I flew out, spent the day with him. We talked about his life. His regrets? Few. His gratitudes? Many. His fears? Surprisingly few. He told me, I thought I'd be more scared, but mostly I just wish I had more time with people I love. That hit me hard, because I have time, right now, with people I love, and I'd been wasting it on trivial bullshit. Day 19 to 21, I stayed close to family, had deep conversations, expressed things I'd been holding back, and the death meditation took on new meaning. It wasn't theoretical anymore. It was rehearsal for inevitable reality. My uncle died on day 22. Day 22, I attended the funeral, and I experienced something I didn't expect. Peace, not happiness. Sadness was there. Grief was there, but also peace, because I'd said what I needed to say. I'd been present. I'd lived aligned with what mattered. There was no regret. No, I wish I had. I prepared for this, not consciously, but the daily death practice had trained me, and I realized this is the point. The Stoics didn't practice death to be morbid. They practiced it so that when real death came, their own or someone they loved, they'd be ready, not emotionally numb, but clear, present, grounded. Marcus wrote, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." I finally understood what he meant. Week 3 broke me open and rebuilt me differently. Day 23, back to normal routine, but nothing felt normal. The death meditation wasn't scary anymore. It was grounding, like returning to a baseline truth every morning. I'm alive today. That's enough. That's everything. I noticed my priorities had completely reorganized. Things that used to matter, social media validation, minor accomplishments, looking successful, didn't care. Things I'd been neglecting, deep friendships, creative projects, being present with family became non-negotiable. Day 24. I quit something I'd been doing for years out of obligation, not alignment. Pre-experiment me would have agonized over that decision for months. Post-death meditation me, I'm going to die someday. Why would I spend my limited time on this? Done. Decision made. No regret. Day 25 to 26. I started having deeper conversations with everyone. Not forced, just natural. Because when you remember everyone's mortal, you stop wasting time on surface-level bullshit. You say what matters. You ask real questions. You connect. Day 27. I reviewed my 27-day data. Anxiety, pre-experiment, 6.5 out of 10 average. Week 4, February 1st, 10 average. 68% reduction. Decision speed, pre-experiment, 3 to 5 days for major decisions. Week 4, same day, often same hour. Relationship quality, measured by depth of conversations, time fully present. Pre-experiment, surface level, distracted. Week 4, deep, meaningful, fully engaged. Risk tolerance, pre-experiment, avoided most risks. Week 4, taking aligned risks, unconcerned with judgment. Phone usage, pre-experiment, 4.5 hours per day average. Week 4, 1.2 hours per day average, 73% reduction. Day 28 to 30, I realized I didn't want to stop. The 30-day experiment was ending, but the practice wasn't. This wasn't something I did for a month. This was something I'd do forever, because it wasn't about death. It was about life. Day 30, last official day of the experiment. I did the death meditation one final time as part of the 30-day commitment. But I already knew I'd do it again day 31, and 32, and every day after, because Marcus was right. You could leave life right now, and if you let that determine what you do and say and think, you'll finally live the way you were always meant to. Not someday, not when circumstances are perfect, not when you're ready. Now, today, while you still have the privilege of being alive. Here's the complete 30-day transformation by the numbers. Psychological metrics. Generalized anxiety, minus 68%. Decision paralysis, minus 91%. Fear of judgment, minus 82%. Presence/mindfulness, plus 340%. Life satisfaction, plus 156%. Behavioral changes. Major decisions made, 7 versus 0 in previous 30 days. Difficult conversations had, 12. Meaningful risks taken, 5. Social media usage, minus 73%. Deep work hours, plus 180%. Relationship impacts, quality time with family, plus 250%. Depth of friendships, self-reported significant improvement. Expressions of love/gratitude, plus 400%. This isn't just anecdote. There's 30 years of research backing this. Terror management theory, Greenberg, Piszczynski, Solomon. When people are reminded of mortality, they either defend their worldview aggressively if the reminder is subliminal/threatening, or pursue deeper meaning and authentic values if the reminder is conscious and integrated. The Stoic practice does the second. You're consciously, deliberately engaging with death, not running from it. Mortality salience research, over 300 studies. Conscious death awareness leads to reduced materialism, increased prosocial behavior, greater tolerance for others, more authentic self-expression, reduced anxiety about trivial concerns. Neuroscience of meditation on death. fMRI studies show death meditation quiets the amygdala, fear center, activates the prefrontal cortex, rational thought, reduces default mode network activity, rumination, worry, increases activity in areas associated with meaning-making. The Stoics discovered empirically what neuroscience proves mechanistically. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Marcus wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." They weren't being dramatic. They were giving you a tool that, when used daily, transforms everything. Not because it makes you obsessed with death, because it makes you obsessed with life. You don't need 30 days to start seeing changes. You need one morning. Here's the exact practice. Set aside 8 minutes tomorrow morning. Minutes 1 to 2, physical death visualization. Imagine you have 1 week left to live, then 1 day, then your final hour. Visualize your last breath. Sit with the darkness after. Minutes 3 to 5, aftermath visualization. Your funeral, who's there, what they say. Your belongings being sorted. 50 years later, you're forgotten. 1,000 years later, you never existed. Minutes 6 to 8, the return and integration. Open your eyes. Feel the aliveness of this moment. Ask, what matters now? What should I stop avoiding? How do I want to live today? Write down the answers, then live accordingly. I'm challenging you to 7 days, not 30, Just 7. 1 week of morning death meditation. Track what changes: your anxiety, your decisions, your presence, your priorities. I guarantee something will shift. If it doesn't, you've lost 56 minutes total. If it does, you've gained clarity you didn't know was possible. Marcus Aurelius died at 58. Seneca was executed at 69. Epictetus lived to around 80. They all knew their time was limited, so they didn't waste it. They faced death daily so they could live fully. You're going to die, that's certain. The only question is, will you live first? Memento Mori. Remember you must die, and then finally truly live. Start your 7-day practice tomorrow. Comment your day 1 experience and click subscribe button.